Just as steam was swept aside by diesel, so too did the diesels face their own slow and sometimes brutal extinction. In this video, we're diving deep into the rise and rapid fall of Britain's diesel locomotive classes. From pioneering prototypes to mass withdrawals, this is the story of a diesel revolution that ran out of steam far too soon. Diesel and electric traction had existed in Britain for decades, but it wasn't until 1947 that the British public truly glimpsed the future, when LMS unveiled 10,000, the country's first true mainline diesel. 10,001 followed shortly after, and while the western and southern regions dabbled with a few more, steam was still king. But the seeds of change had been sown. After nationalisation in 1948, BR continued with standard steam designs, but behind the scenes, plans were already underway for a system-wide transformation. In 1955, the Modernization Plan declared war on steam. BR rushed into dieselisation, commissioning a wide variety of prototypes from multiple manufacturers, hoping to find a winning formula. But instead of thorough testing and phased rollout, many unproven classes were ordered in large numbers. The result? A mixed fleet with wildly varying performance and reliability. A lack of standardisation would haunt BR for decades to come. By the early 1960s, the earliest diesels were already being withdrawn. Pioneers like 10,000 and 10,201 to 10,203 were scrapped just 15 years after their debut. Some, like Class 37 D6983, met their end through accidents. Others, such as the Class 10s, fell to the torch simply because there was no longer a need for so many shunters. Shunting locomotives, built in large numbers to replace steam one for one, soon became redundant as freight traffic patterns shifted and marshalling yards consolidated. 1967 to 68 was a brutal period. The last steam trains may have been bowing out, but diesels were dropping like flies. The Class 14s, less than 3 years old, were scrapped after being rendered surplus almost immediately. The same went for the North British warships and the short-lived Class 21s. Many of these locos were victims of poor planning, built for a type of traffic that was already disappearing. The Western region had gone its own way with hydraulic traction, fielding over 300 locos split between 4 classes. But by the early 70s, BR had had enough. The Class 22s vanished by 1972. The warships followed, and by the end of 1972, only a quarter of the Himex remained. Swindon Works became a graveyard for hydraulics. From passing trains, young enthusiasts caught fleeting glimpses of locomotives they would never see run again. It wasn't all doom and gloom. As diesel classes began vanishing, enthusiasts started to fight back. The Westerns sparked the first true cult following, and 6 were preserved. Even the unique Metrovic D5705 survived, just. As more locomotives entered industrial service and later preservation, a growing appreciation for diesels began to take hold. But for many classes, it was already too late. By the 1980s, new freight locos like the Class 56 were entering service. At the same time, a downturn in freight saw entire fleets mothballed. Locos were stored, but rarely returned to service. Swindon Works filled up fast. Diesels were stripped for spares and towed out for cutting. Elsewhere, the mighty Class 55 Deltics were being retired from the East Coast mainline. Their replacements, the sleek new high-speed trains. But while engineers may have cursed the Deltics, enthusiasts adored them. 6 were preserved, and their legacy roars on to this day. The mid-80s saw the fall of the Class 40s, 46s, and 25s. Some 8s were sold off for industrial use. A handful were preserved. Others, like the Class 45s and 27s, were slowly withdrawn as new or refurbished traction made them surplus. Even once untouchables like the Class 47s weren't safe. By the late 80s, British Rail's fleet was shrinking fast, and the days of large-scale diesel operation were drawing to a close. Electrification, sectorisation, and cost-cutting meant more cascades, more storage, and more withdrawals. The mighty fleets that once hauled Britain into a new era of modernisation were now dwindling. Today, many diesel types exist only in museums and preservation sites. But thanks to passionate enthusiasts, some have been saved, restored, and even returned to mainline service. Their rumble may be rare, but it's never forgotten. If you've enjoyed this journey through the rise and fall of Britain's diesel locomotives, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with fellow enthusiasts, and subscribe for more railway history, nostalgia, and stories from the tracks. Have a favourite class we didn't mention? Let us know in the comments. Let's keep the memory of these iconic machines alive.